So hey everyone, welcome to Storage 101 for players. I'm going to be showing you how I store my cards as a Pokemon TCG player. Being that you tend to accumulate a lot of them, you have to store them in interesting ways if you don't just want to be losing your stuff. This isn't going to be for collectors. I'm not going to show you all my pretty binders and stuff like that. I don't have many. I'm going to be showing you how as a player I sort and store my cards. Of course, this can be adapted to collectors too, depending on your needs, but figure we'll just get right into it. Starting off, I have how do I store my trainers. This is what people tend to like the most when I'm talking about how I store my cards, and it's actually with Elite Trainer boxes. This is an empty Elite Trainer box right here. It's very helpful. As you can see, I've labeled it. I recommend getting a Brother brand label maker. They're pretty good. You can buy generic refills for the label, so it's not too expensive to constantly use it. But you can see, as you can see, this one is Sword and Shield 5 through 8. It's actually, I believe, 8.5 because it has celebrations in there. But regardless, this contains all of my Sword and Shield 5 through 8 cards. So Battle Styles, the ones that are rotating. Battle Styles, Chilling Reign, Evolving Skies, right here, Celebrations, and Fusion Strike. So how do we use this more effectively? Because it's very simple to say, oh, get an Elite Trainer box. How do I do this specifically? For one thing, you always want to load each end with a top loader. Always do this. As you can see right here, the ends are always top loaders. Do this on both sides. If you're not doing that, use something, please. Do not let these ends be open because there's little notches that I'm scratching right now. You will get your cards stuck in there and they will be destroyed beyond even playability. Because cards get conveniently caught in that awfully decisioned flaw of these things. I don't know why they have them, but it's important to know. Always start with top loading your ends. Don't put anything in the top loaders. Now, what are the next step? What I do here is I divide them by set. As you can see, each set has a label. These are literally just a top loader. And all I did to the top loader was I printed out the label from my label maker and put it on. This works really good if you ask me. If you use a top loader, it is just above the cards, so you can see all the cards, but you can also see the labels. And we also have Battle Styles right here, if you're wondering. These ones I use tape on because I wasn't sure how to use the label maker at first, but they come with sticky, ready to go, so you just peel the back off. How do I sort these sets in here? Let's just take Battle Styles out as an example. Because I'm a player, I'm not too worried about condition. Obviously, you can adjust this according to your needs, but I just use penny sleeves. Here is my Brunos, right? So if I ever need Brunos, these are all my trainers from Battle Styles. Reverses as well, and I just shove them in a penny sleeve. Now, obviously, this is not the best for condition, so if you really care about the condition of your foils especially, this is not going to be the method for you. You might want to use individual sleeving. I used to do that back in the day. Now I do not. It's all up to what you want to do. So that is my trainer box. I have probably 30 of these at this point that I use, and I usually divide them up by year if I have enough cards to fulfill that year. What happens if I do not have enough cards to fill up individual years? This is an Era box. This is the Diamond and Pearl trainers boxes. Diamond and Pearl and Platinum. So about 3 years-ish of TCG right here. And does the same thing. If you're wondering, my trainers are sorted alphabetically by set number. Because when they're put in the set, they're put alphabetically. If you didn't know that, fun fact. But these are now, this is an entire era. Because I do not have, well, I probably have as many as I do in the Sword and Shield. However, they're in decks, so I don't need as much space to sort these, whereas these I do. There's a lot of them as well. So you can see every single set in Diamond and Pearl Platinum. Same kind of labeling thing, same kind of end top load. That's an Era box for you. Special Energy, I do a little bit simpler. I plan on maybe renovating this eventually. It's the same top-loaded box, but there's no labels this time. It's just alphabetically sorted. If you want to mix these in with your trainers, I can, but I don't have enough space in most of my trainer things to put it. And also things like double colorless energies, there's 5 printings of, so You know, I'd rather just have all the double colorless energies in one spot so that I can just grab them out at one time. These are all my double colorless, right, that are free from decks. This is personally just my decision. I know this isn't anything fancy, but same Elite Trainer Box thing. You can see, because I didn't end cap this one because it had some extra space. I use these old Dragon Shield boxes. I get sent them in the mail a lot of times from people who send me stuff, so I just reuse these. Reuse, recycle, right? Do some good for the environment. This is a nice little end cap here if you don't want to top load it, or if you have extra space. Because this one, if I take this away, right, cards are starting to fall over. Don't want that. So we have that there. There's actually an end cap down here that I stuck here in case I needed it, but I really don't, so we'll just put that up. Why not? That is the special energy. That's A through M right here, if you're wondering. As I said, I label all the fronts of these, so they're pretty easy to tell, and I'll show you my cabinet in a couple of minutes. We'll go over that. Here's just my cool energy. I don't do all my basic energy here. I just do anything that I could use for old decks, right? So these are like the energy that are fancy, right? So let's just take out, we'll do fire because it's a smaller section. And these are organized by type in the set order, being fire, grass, water, lightning, psychic, fighting. I believe it's then dark, metal, fairy. And as you can see, these are just my neat energies. I keep them penny sleeved and sometimes perfect fitted in those penny sleeves for the ones that are more special, like the EX Emerald, and these are, you know, League energies. Really up to you what you want to do with these, if you even store these separately. I know some people also binder them because they make great trade fodder, so I personally like to collect them for decks, so there is a basic energy box. Enough about basic energy and trainers. We're playing the Pokemon trading card game, right? Let's look at some Pokemon. Here is a generic red box. Pretty one, ain't it? I have multiple of these. They also come in different colors depending on what store you buy them at, but I find them to be very helpful. Let's take a peek. Alrighty, so right here we have my retro playables, and we have some lot playables, and we once again have an insert deck box to fill space. How do these work? I don't have these labeled. Maybe I will label them in the future, but I'm always changing orders around, so maybe we'll consider it. Let's just take a section out here. For example, though, this is retro playable, so anything pre-black and white that is a playable card in decks goes here. Again, the penny sleeve thing, you can be a little bit nicer to your cards if you want to be. I'm putting them in decks, so I don't really care as long as they're sleeve playable and the hollow stays somewhat nice. There they are, and there's some lot. I have this not divided up because there's less of them to worry about. So really up to you what you want to do. Crucially though, these boxes do not come made like this. You'll notice that there is this thing in the middle right here. What is this? Well, if you've been paying attention to what I've been using for everything, these are literally top loaders. I have quite literally taped top loaders together and taped them to the edge on each side. This may seem kind of weird and DIY, however it works. It turns these boxes that otherwise aren't made for Pokemon cards really, unless you were to dump them in here, turns into a nice divider, which makes two very nice rows for cards to go in. You've definitely seen these like boxes at, like, you can find them on Amazon, you can find them, you know, at your local store. These are 34.6 centimeters by 21 centimeters by 12.4 centimeters. So you definitely have seen these. If you went to any craft store, you've seen these. If you went to Walmart, you've probably seen these 6-quart little containers. I had it labeled because it used to be for trainers, not anymore. If you want to go further in and label stuff in there, that's your prerogative. I don't, just because I know where everything is, but it's nice. I like these. Back to a bit of energy. I talked about all the cool energies. Where do I sort my not cool energies? That's these right here. This is another one of these giant satellite or Sterilite, whatever it is. How much is this one? This one is a 15-quart bin. So we take that off, and here's the energy. It's a little disorganized because I don't take as good of care of these energies as I should have, but if we were to get things in order just a little bit for looking sake, there, that's fine. Just get them out of the side. What do we have here? It's a little bit empty because I've used a lot of the energies for proxy decks. But essentially, these get divided up really well by Elite Trainer boxes. I'm not doing this properly because I should have a top loader here to end cap it. But essentially, Elite Trainer boxes work really, really well for these kind of energy sorters. You see, like I use the old Elite Trainer boxes for these. There's just really no difference. I divide them with Elite Trainer box dividers because they're not sleeved. As you can see, here's a Dragon Majesty divider that divides each type. Again, grass, fire, water. These are sun and moon ones. Lightning, psychic, fighting. These are a little bit, like I said, a little bit more disjointed. Dark, metal, fairy, and then these go on to black and white era stuff. So a little bit more disjointed just because I don't care as much about basic energy. A lot of them I've taken out to use as proxy material. But the main thing, you can see this from above, when you're using this specific bin, you can divide it up into rows for cards without even using top loaders. All you have to do is stick 3 Elite Trainer boxes in, like so, and it divides itself up into perfect sized rows. You don't even need an Elite Trainer box here or here or here, because it just makes for great size rows for cards. So that's just a personal little life hack. I used to have all my sealed energy right here, but I've used a lot of them for proxying, so I do not have as many of them anymore. So that's that bin. How do I store ultra rares? Obviously I showed you the playables bin, but that's not the ultra rares. This has actually changed over the last year or so. Let me grab stuff. If you remember, I did a collection inventory a year ago in November of 2022. And when I did that video, my cards were all in binders for ultra rares, all very sorted. Here, I still have my main binder for things like full art trainers and alternate arts, the real top shelf stuff. Here's my legends section, EX full arts with a new Deoxys I got, right, like secret rares. I'm not going to do a full collection tour, just kind of showing you what this binder entails. We have the character rares section, and get back to the gold cards and alt art section, right? So I do still have one binder, but a couple of my other binders broke. One thing to learn about binders is they're kind of shit at what they do. The pages wear out. These black, I'm talking black page binders, not like your generic Ultra Pro 9-page plastic shit that wears out within 3 months. I'm talking like even these nice black binders, they tear apart over time. And I'm not rough with my stuff, right? I'm very kind to my binders. They tear apart, they melt to the sleeves, right? So like I try not to binder things as much as I used to. As a player, it just makes me feel better to have this. Not great for card condition, I imagine, but that's second to me as a player. Here we have a new innovation on my storage. We have the bin, as you can see, utilizing more of these nice little deck boxes to place hold, keep things all in order. This one's upside down just to bother you, dear viewers. What does this entail? I'm going to tilt this without ripping it. This is a 3-row cardboard box. You've seen these, I'm sure, at your local stores. They have these foldable boxes. If you don't, you haven't went to many local stores. Sometimes they come in 5-row, 2-row, 3-row, 4-row. They make these in like every size. They are absolutely great. My 2 favorite sizes are 3-row and 5-row. I feel like they just give good enough, use case. So you could definitely argue for like 1 and 2. I think 4 is a little awkward. What is right here then? I have labels, again, done with top loader. And as you can see, this labels replace the binder. It is sorting my hits. So let's just take out, for instance, this is the level X section right here. So if we take out the level X's, you can organize these as you want. We have all of my level X cards, including the Celebrations prints. So for me, this has worked pretty well. I actually like this a lot more than binders. I know it's not pretty, it's not flashy, but it keeps all of the cards and it doesn't melt them to the pages, which is nice. We also have extra dividers here being held just in case I need them. These go into like the V's and VMAXs over here. I have this sorted by generation basically, besides like just miscellaneous back here. Right here, I have bulk. I've been trying to accumulate bulk from Gen 3 and Gen 4 and Gen 5 sets so that I may eventually form a binder. This is Supreme Victor's bulk, as you can see, labeled SV. I don't treat it very nicely, but it might be nice to eventually accumulate like full sets of bulk. Here we have some more black and white bulk, which these just aren't folded over. Here actually, which one of the nice things about these, you don't want to overload them too much, but I have an Elite Trainer box stuffed in there that can be removable. This is my trade box. Has all the cards that I take to League to trade with other people. So I just set that in there. You don't want to set too many of them in there because they'll stretch out the box, right? Like this middle row especially, not really meant for that. But these boxes are very nice. They're a great tool. I've really liked this change that I've made to my collection over the past year or so. Or no, I guess it's only been like probably 6 months since my binders broke apart. Anyway, I'm going to show you how I store the cards in the cabinet. So I'm going to make a cut to the camera. We're going to make another clip. Just a quick reminder before we move on. If you're wondering how I store decks, we'll do a quick thing on that. Here is a deck. I use Ultra Pro clear $2 deck boxes. They're cheap and they're wonderful. And I label the top so that way I can see them when I put them in. What do I put them in? We have a 5-row. We have multiple of these, in fact, for all the decks I have. I keep sealed. They do fall apart over time, but they're not too expensive to replace. So if you get something like this and you're like, oh, that's, you know, got a little wet somewhere along the way, you can replace it. I know they don't look pretty, but they get the job done. One 5-row box stores 45 Ultra Pro standard 80+ deck boxes, which are my choice of deck box. So, as you can see, they fit together all nicely. So, on to the last part. We're going to be talking about my cabinet here. This is where I store the majority of my cards. I do have sealed product and stuff hanging out elsewhere, but this is where I store the majority of my cards. The bottom 2 drawers I don't use for much, but we'll go over those first. So here I have some deck boxes I was gifted. I'll probably never use those. A spare dice bag. And these are trainer toolkits. Some of them have dice and GX counters in them. Some of them have like the sealed sleeves you get from Elite Trainer boxes. This is some sealed deck boxes in it as well. That's what I use that for. These are the portable thing. So if I go to League, this is a Ultimate Guard product that has room for a playmat and 8 deck boxes, and it's magnetic seal. Here's a smaller deck holder. This is just mainly sleeves down here and deck boxes, things like that. As you can see, nice sleeves. And we have a couple little secret little projects we're working on back there. Here is the money shot. This is where all of those Elite Trainer boxes go. Almost all of them anyway. And this is convenient because I can fit 9 across, 2 high, and 2 back. So if you're doing your math, that's 36 total able to fit. And what's nice is that they're labeled on the front. This really helps me find which ones I want, so I can scoot them over. If let's just say I'm looking for, let's see, which one is in our site? We cannot see Sun and Moon 1 through 4 currently, right? We'll look at the sides. So when I want Sun and Moon 1 through 4, actually it's right there. But let's just say it's hidden. I can just move these to the side, move this up here. You can move these across from each other without damaging cards. And then you can pull this one out, like so. Try to give yourself a little bit extra room. You don't want to fill the thing full because then you can't move things around and adjust them. Keep the ones you use the most up front. This one's here because I just used it for an example, but the thing I use the most is definitely the Diamond Pearl Platinum box and the Energy box and the EX Era box. So these stay up front because I use them the most. Top shelf, we have those 2 boxes I showed you. This is the one I showed you on camera with the retro stuff with Pokemon and some lot staples. And then we have this one. It's very close to the some lot one where it's less labeled, but these are X and Y era. And we have Sword and Shield era, sorted by type. And this is the Black and White staples, sorted by type, once again. And if you go back here, here is the Team Up Onward Sun and Moon, because I don't play with those cards as much, so I separated them because it's worse formats. Here's the energy bin, fits nice here. Can't stack anything up on each other, unfortunately. I don't think, you know what, that might fit. I could probably stack these on top of each other. Let's give it a shot. Why not, for the content? Oh, sure enough. Well, if you want to save space, you can actually fit 4 of those. Good luck getting them out, but you can do that. And there's some scraping on the wood from using it all of these years. Up to the top, we have my 2 binders that are left. I showed you this one. Here's a Celebi binder. Here is a product I don't recommend. Let's give it a peek. I bought it. Don't recommend it. It's supposed to be magnetically sealed. It's not anymore. This is a Sidewinder 3-row box. I just recommend using the regular ones. Don't get fancy with like this. It's nice that they have these little label things. I don't want to show my face. I'll be careful on the front. But Sidewinding cards is a lot less good. There's not a way to label them because then the lid won't close. I just use these for random cards. I call it my notables bin because I just stick things aside that are kind of cool, like reverse hollows. Here's my extensive library of DP stuff because I keep on buying more DP stuff. I have like probably 600 DP error reverses just sitting in here because I keep on buying more of them. Yeah, right there's Typhlosion. The camera's not going to focus well, I don't think. But yeah, there's Typhlosion. A lot of glare with the sleeves. This is just sorted by generation. So Gen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And I don't have a section for 9 besides this tiny little thing up here in the front where I just, like I said, I just save cool reverse hollows mainly. I don't recommend that product. It doesn't get what I want it to be done. It'll probably be replaced by a 5-row cardboard box someday. And, of course, there is the ultra rare box, and I just put that on top of that. So, that's my setup for all of these cards. That's how I sort my stuff. You saw the innards and outers. I'm not going to show the sleeve stuff. It's literally just me putting packs of sleeves in boxes. It's not anything complex. Yep, that's about all I had to say. Bye-bye.